Hi everybody, my name is Tananarive. I am an author and screenwriter and I teach at UCLA. I teach Black horror and Afrofuturism. This is my new short story collection, The Wishing Pool and Other Stories. And I am so excited that I recently found out that one of the short stories, which is called Incident at Bear Creek Lodge, is a finalist for a World Fantasy Award. It first appeared in an anthology called Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology. And as I said, I've also included it in my own collection, which is my second short story collection, The Wishing Pool and Other Stories. And while I'm here celebrating my 25th anniversary, my husband will be here soon. It's the closest I could get to a cabin in the woods without it actually being a cabin in the woods. I wanted to read an excerpt from this short story because it actually does kind of take place at a cabin in the woods. Pretend all of this is snow, and a 12-year-old black boy named Johnny is visiting his grandmother. He barely knows her. She was a film star in the 1930s, but his mother can't stand her, so he's barely ever met her. And she has this lodge in the Colorado mountains she opened during segregation so that she and her celebrity friends would have a place to stay. And she called it Bear Creek Lodge. That wasn't the first name, but we'll get to that. Unfortunately, because she came of age in 1930s Hollywood, the only way she could really make a name for herself was doing the kinds of stereotypical roles that many of our forebears were forced to do in Hollywood. In the 1930s, you were either playing a domestic, maybe you could do a musical act now and then, or you were what we call cooning, unfortunately, which is gape-eyed and big grins and it's just unfortunate that that was the only work available, but like Hattie McDaniel said, she could have played a maid or been one. And this woman, Maisel Washington, became famous as someone named Lazy Maisie. And it is a complicated legacy that even during her lifetime, she felt shame about, and she felt like she was pushed to the side. So she's kind of mean. You know, the mean grandmother, this is the mean grandmother. And I've just told you that backstory as a way of understanding why she became so mean. But this is actually a creature story. And part of your journey as a reader is figuring out what is the relationship between the creature story and his grandmother's history. So here is a short excerpt from Incident at Bear Creek Lodge. I tried not to let my sneakers sink too deeply into snow as I walked inside the fence, reveling in the sight of small animal tracks and frozen spider webs and knotted tree trunks shaped like open mouths. At the end of the driveway, I came back to that large metal insignia, the Lazy M, nearly as tall as I was, leaning on the fence. It was now obvious that this had once been posted on the driveway gate, though maybe it had fallen. Maybe that was one more thing Uncle Ricky would need to fix. I didn't notice the red droplets in the snow just beyond the Lazy M sign until I saw the dead thing. Actually, it was a dead thing's head. I was so startled that I fell backward, landing my butt in the snow, but I jumped right back up again to get a better look at the matted fur, open black eye, and bloody mess where its head had once been attached to its now severed neck. Maybe it was a raccoon, though hardly enough was left to tell, especially to a boy from Liberty City. Yet I knew it was dead, and I noticed from a pinkish trail in the snow that it had been dragged to that spot. Parts of the trail had been covered by snow and sometimes disappeared, but I kept following until it took me back to the kitchen steps beside the caddy. A sound like shifting sand behind me spun me around fast, panting like I'd been running. My eyes looked for movement everywhere, and finally I saw something under the snow slither around a tree trunk out of my sight, except for a few loose flakes spraying away fast. I ran to where I thought I'd seen it, but all of the snow was flat again. The one mound I kicked was only a buried tree trunk. I went back to the caddy. The trail didn't originate exactly where I thought I'd first seen the snow move, though close enough. I picked up the stick I'd thrown away and scattered the snow beside the steps until I uncovered a blood-soaked center, maybe as big as a car tire. The blood spot was almost purple. The way I stood there staring, I might have been frozen solid. I wasn't sure myself. A thump on the kitchen window made me look up. Grandmother was standing there, her hair covered by a bonnet, which made her seem so much older. She cracked open the kitchen door. "Johnny, come inside," she said. "Get out of that cold without a coat. What's wrong with you? You'll catch your death out there." That was something Mom said a lot too, so now I knew where she'd gotten the saying about catching death. But this was the first time it sounded real. And that is an excerpt from Incident at Bear Creek Lodge, which is in my collection, The Wishing Pool and Other Stories. And I hope you enjoyed that brief excerpt.